show Canelo Alvarez body shots. Like maybe there's a video we could look. He's got a beautiful one where he steps in and just rips that left to the liver, and just your body just goes deep. It just shuts down. It's the weirdest feeling, man. It's like your legs stop working, everything stops working. Your whole body just seizes.
Joe Rogan has predicted that Canelo Alvarez would overwhelmingly defeat Terence Crawford if they ever faced each other in the ring. While acknowledging Crawford's exceptional boxing skills, Rogan pointed out that Canelo's size and power advantage would be too much for Crawford to handle. He emphasized that Canelo's experience competing in higher weight classes, combined with his knockout ability, would give him a clear edge. According to Rogan, Canelo would dominate Crawford in a direct fight. Additionally, he highlighted the significant difference in size and natural strength between the two, noting that Crawford has never faced someone as physically imposing and dangerous as Canelo. This sparked a lot of debate within the boxing community, some agreeing with Rogan's view, while others believe Crawford's technical skills might help him counter Canelo's strength. Rogan's comments have added more excitement to the ongoing discussions about whether these two champions will ever meet, fueling speculation about how such a showdown might unfold. Boxing fans remain intrigued by the hypothetical matchup, but as Rogan stressed, Canelo's power and ability to deliver devastating punches could prove too much for Crawford to overcome. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia has stirred the pot again on social media, reigniting Twitter feuds by targeting both Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. The verbal exchanges between these three elite boxers have intensified recently. Crawford shared his thoughts on Ryan Garcia during a podcast with Logan Paul, but the real buzz started when Canelo Alvarez commented on a potential fight with Crawford, sparking widespread debate, especially after remarks by Turkey Alec that heightened anticipation around the matchup. Ryan Garcia didn't hold back in his criticism of Crawford, recognizing his talent but insisting that Crawford doesn't measure up to either him or Canelo Alvarez.
Garcia, it's pretty clear that he's tangled up in some evils and some demons right now. Do you ever try to reach out to people like that and kind of set them straight?
Nah, not really. I don't have a relationship with them like that. That's not my place. The guys that's around them. For you to call yourself a friend, a brother, to watch a man like that self-destruct, what type of friend are you? There's not one person in my camp right now that wouldn't grab me and be like, hey, you trick.
He praised Crawford's athletic abilities, but made it clear that, in his opinion, Crawford still has a long way to go before reaching the level of fighters like himself or Canelo. You are a great and dedicated athlete, but you can't compare to me or Canelo, Garcia stated. He also criticized Crawford, accusing him of taking advantage of everyone around him, but having little to show for it. In a bold move, Garcia issued a challenge, daring Crawford to face him head-on and settle their feud once and for all. Garcia's recent remarks may have been prompted by Crawford's comments about Canelo Alvarez. When asked about a potential fight with Crawford, Alvarez appeared open but stressed that the bout would depend heavily on financial terms. He even claimed that a fight with Crawford at 168 pounds would be an easy victory for him. In response, during a conversation with Shah's Idol and Sean Showtime Porter, Crawford fired back, disputing Alvarez's points, especially regarding weight and money. Crawford pointed out that Alvarez, who has previously fought smaller opponents like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Amir Khan, now seemed reluctant to face him. He also questioned Alvarez's financial claims, suggesting that aside from the Mayweather fight, Alvarez's earnings from other big fights might not be as impressive as he asserts. Crawford believes that despite these claims, Alvarez is hesitant to fight him because he fears risking his boxing reputation.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like, yes, man touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on his real match.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stones. It's about now.
Moreover, Ryan Garcia has openly expressed his views on a potential showdown, leaving no room for doubt. In a recent interview, Garcia, known for his provocative remarks, dismissed Terence Crawford as an overhyped fighter and confidently stated that Canelo Alvarez would win if the two ever clashed in the ring. Speaking candidly on Say Cheese TV, Garcia called Crawford a boring fighter whose popularity is undeserved and accused him of merely taking money from the sport without earning it. Despite currently serving a doping ban, Garcia boldly challenged Crawford to face him in the ring if he thought Garcia's words were exaggerated. Garcia's audacious comments stirred controversy, especially given his ongoing suspension and the uproar over his failed drug test earlier this year. The excitement around a possible fight between Crawford and Alvarez grew after Crawford won his 4th world title, defeating Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA super welterweight belt. Saudi Arabian boxing executive Turki Alik expressed enthusiasm for arranging the bout and reportedly invited Alvarez, but Alvarez's rejection caused Alik to lose interest in that particular fight. Instead, Alik is now focusing on a new prospect, a matchup between Crawford and unbeaten American star Virgil Ortiz Jr. Despite this shift, anticipation around the Crawford-Alvarez showdown remains strong. Boxing fans continue to discuss the potential clash between Crawford, who holds an undefeated record of 41 wins, and Alvarez, who recently fought Edgar Berlanga, fresh off his successful debut at 154 pounds. Crawford may have to move up to 168 pounds to face Alvarez. While Alvarez has shown willingness to take on Crawford, he has reportedly demanded a staggering $150 million purse for the fight. Garcia's harsh critique of Crawford has sparked debate on whether the matchup would live up to expectations. He dismissed Crawford's skills, claiming that despite the Omaha fighter's accolades, he doesn't measure up to Alvarez's level. He gets hit a lot. He's not untouchable, Garcia said, confidently suggesting that even he could find a way to defeat Crawford. Currently, each fighter is pursuing their own path, but the possibility of an Alvarez-Crawford fight remains an exciting prospect. Garcia's bold statements have only intensified the buzz within the boxing community. Canelo Alvarez is one of boxing's biggest superstars, with his fame drawing countless challengers eager to face the Mexican icon. While many calls for a fight come from lesser-known fighters, Terence Crawford offers a truly compelling challenge. After his landmark victory over Errol Spence Jr. in 2023, becoming the first male boxer to hold undisputed titles into divisions, Crawford expressed a strong desire to face Alvarez, the reigning super middleweight champion. However, Alvarez, who hails from Guadalajara, has not shown reciprocal interest. He cited the significant size difference between the two as a major barrier, making the fight impractical at this time. Crawford's fight against Israel Madrimov, his debut in the super welterweight division, further fueled debate among critics, who argue that Crawford may be undersized against the reigning super middleweight champion. Boxing legend and Hall of Famer Roy Jones Jr. recently weighed in with a bold prediction during an interview with Fight Hub TV. He said, "Do I think Canelo can beat Bud? It's a tough fight to call. I think size may be Canelo's biggest factor. But if he tries to outbox Bud, he won't win. But as a great boxer, if Bud can take the punch, he'll outbox Canelo. What will determine the fight is who wants it most and who has the better game plan." Terence Crawford, who recently won the WBA super welterweight title by defeating Israel Madrimov, is now aiming for the undisputed world titles in the 154-pound division. His victory has set him on a promising trajectory toward this goal. Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, who represents Madrimov, caused controversy with a bold statement, suggesting that if Crawford doesn't fight Alvarez soon, he may never fight again. In a recent Fight Hub TV interview, Hearn said, "I don't think Terence Crawford will fight again unless it's against Canelo. He definitely won't fight Virgil Ortiz or rematch Madrimov. He's made a lot of money and seems comfortable." In recent years, Crawford has become one of boxing's most dominant forces. He is determined to cement his legacy and secure a substantial financial reward. However, making this fight happen is complicated, especially given the massive financial demands reportedly reaching $150 million. Negotiations are far from simple. Still, Crawford appears willing to forego other opportunities in pursuit of this potentially career-defining showdown until he gets that fight with Canelo. "I don't think he steps back in the ring," Hearn said, highlighting Crawford's commitment. This anticipated matchup could be a landmark event for boxing fans worldwide and dramatically impact both fighters' careers. For Crawford, facing Canelo would be the pinnacle of his ambitions, a golden chance to cap off an already legendary career with a major victory. However, the fight remains a distant dream. Even Turki Alik, the renowned matchmaker, was unable to convince Alvarez to accept the challenge. Meanwhile, Crawford is eager to face the Mexican legend, but is careful not to appear overly eager. At a press event for Alvarez's upcoming bout with Edgar Berlanga, Eddie Hearn made a lighthearted comment about using Canelo's name to promote Crawford's fight against Madrimov. Crawford found the remark somewhat disrespectful, telling Chen's Idol on the Porter Way podcast, "He's trying to stay friends with him, but it's disrespectful to me because we didn't have to use Canelo's name to promote anything." Boxing. Reporter Michael Benson interviewed Eddie Hearn about Crawford's feelings of disrespect. Hearn responded, "He's a bit touchy, isn't he? I was joking with Canelo when I made that comment." When asked if he was joking, Hearn replied, "Well, I wasn't. We don't use Canelo's name." But he was a huge talking point. That week, Hearn's comments hold some truth. This is the fight boxing fans are eager to see. Crawford has previously expressed his desire to take on Alvarez. All of you guys want to talk about Crawford versus Canelo, so yeah, we're going to talk about it. Crawford said, as expected. Hearn was unapologetic about his statement. It's hard to ignore the buzz surrounding a potential fight between these two pound-for-pound titans. Adding Canelo Alvarez to the mix has definitely increased excitement around Crawford's recent bouts. Interestingly, Hearn also said in a prior interview that it's highly unlikely Alvarez will face Crawford. The British promoter stated in an interview with Teport that Alvarez would probably choose to fight David Benavidez over Crawford because he would get more credit for that win. I think he picked Benavidez over Crawford because he knows he'd get credit for that win, whereas he might not versus a guy 3 divisions lower. Hearn explained. He added, "When I met Saul, he wasn't crazy about that Crawford fight. He felt that with a welterweight moving up to light middleweight and then to super middleweight, he wouldn't get any credit for that win."
Were you cooking the whole meal? That's what I think. Yeah.
Recently, Canelo Alvarez spoke about the possibility of a fight with Terence Crawford in an interview with Boxing Scene. However, for this matchup to happen, Crawford must first face Sebastian Fundora, as ordered by the World Boxing Organization, WBO. "I'm not saying the fight with Crawford can't happen. The order doesn't matter," said the Jalisco native. Canelo, who is the reigning super middleweight champion, also revealed that Turki Alec proposed a bout with Crawford in February 2025. Although Alvarez may still have several years left in his career, many fans worry that Crawford's prime could be nearing its end. Meanwhile, the young monster Naoya Inoue is just 31, suggesting he has plenty of prime years ahead. For those who have witnessed these legends reach the pinnacle of boxing, questions arise about their future. What will happen once these greats retire? Who will carry their legacies forward? Former 2-division champion Timothy Desert Storm Bradley shares these concerns, echoing the anxieties of many fans. Just last month, Crawford added the WBA light middleweight title to his achievements, and Inoue recently defended his undisputed title again. The Mexican star is set to fight again in a few days. Bradley questioned, "Once Canelo, Crawford, and Inoue hang up their gloves, who will we look up to?" He wondered who would succeed these multi-division champions. Known for his legendary trilogy with Manny Pacquiao, Bradley urged fans to appreciate these fighters while they are still in their prime, because once they are gone, boxing will feel empty. "I'm not going to lie," he said, "boxing will kind of be dead." Looking ahead, there's some hope from heavyweight legends. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk are scheduled for a rematch in 3 months. Usyk, who holds an Olympic gold medal, unified cruiserweight titles, and is the first undisputed heavyweight champion of this century, is nearing 38 and may retire soon. Fury, despite promising to fight at least 5 more times, might also be approaching the end of his career. Bradley's reflections are spot on. Once these champions retire, who will have the grit and determination to reach boxing's highest level? Though this thought is sobering, change is inevitable. The old guard must give way to the new generation. After the eras of Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis, the sport quickly saw new stars like Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao emerge. Fans find it hard to imagine anyone replacing legends like Alvarez, Crawford, and Inoue, but boxing will continue to thrive. Meanwhile, speculation surrounds Canelo Alvarez's next fight after his upcoming bout with Edgar Berlanga. Many, including Adam Cattle from Top Rank, believe David Benavidez should be his next opponent. Benavidez, a former WBC super middleweight champion, is considered the top contender for Canelo's 168-pound title. despite holding the WBC mandatory spot for over a year by defeating top fighters like David Lemieux, Caleb Plant, and Demetrius and Raid. Canelo has shown little urgency in finalizing the fight, frustrating fans. Cattle expressed confusion about Canelo's choice to fight Berlanga instead, saying Berlanga isn't the right opponent for the best super middleweight in the world. He believes the best fight at 168 pounds is Canelo versus Benavidez and hopes it happens soon. Frustrated by the delay, Benavidez moved up to light heavyweight in June, winning the WBC interim title. He now must face the winner of the upcoming showdown between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. Cattle added that Canelo has experience and ring IQ to handle Benavidez and would take the fight if the money is right. However, former IBF super lightweight champion Paulie Malignaggi doubts the fight will ever happen. Malignaggi predicts Benavidez would dominate Canelo and suggests that Canelo's reluctance to face his mandatory opponent supports this belief. He's more interested in other fights than watching Canelo versus Benavidez. Terence Crawford appears to be Canelo's most likely future opponent. Turkey Alec has long sought this super fight, emphasizing that Crawford only wants a showdown with Alvarez. Crawford has been ordered to fight Sebastian Fundora in a high-stakes unification bout, but it's unclear if he will go through with it. Despite fan and media pressure, Canelo remains calm, saying he's open to fights with the right financial terms, but doubts they'll enhance his legacy. Canelo respects Crawford, who recently joined the elite group of 4 weight world champions. After beating Errol Spence Jr., the only rival Canelo considers significant in Crawford's record. Still, Canelo downplays Crawford's other wins, saying aside from Spence, he hasn't beaten many great fighters. Though somewhat indifferent, Canelo remains open to the fight, saying, "You never know in boxing. We'll see in the future." Many believe Crawford's jump up to weight classes to face the naturally bigger Canelo is bold. After a recent unanimous decision win over Israel Madiev, Crawford's power seemed less effective at super welterweight, ending his streak of 10 consecutive stoppages. Canelo also noted the importance of weight classes in boxing when asked about the fight. Crawford's move to challenge Canelo has been explained by Joe Rogan, who says Crawford's primary motivation is a big money fight. Rogan calls Canelo the best boxer and believes the bout would bring massive earnings. For Crawford, it would be the perfect final chapter to his career before retirement.
Maybe this is, let me get one big money fight and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But he's got Boots Ennis, knock on his door too, which is another amazing fight, but super dangerous. Just like Benavidez is dangerous, Boots Ennis is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
During a previous conversation with MMA, Crawford made it clear that a fight with IBF welterweight champion Jaron Ennis is off the table for the foreseeable future. At just 27, Ennis is talented but hasn't yet captured the public's attention or become a major pay-per-view draw. On the other hand, Canelo meets 2 important criteria for Crawford: significant financial reward and a boost to his legacy. Crawford told Ariel Helwani, "Where I'm at right now, I'm looking for the fight that makes the most sense, and that's not with Boots. Canelo is going to bring way more to my legacy and way more to my bank account. At the end of the day, when boxing is over, what will we have? I want to have a legacy that people talk about for ages. And not only that, I want a bank account that will last for ages."